on the lead for the Lennox Orioles, now 12-10.
Yep, that came down to that pass again. They got to get that pass at least close to Claire so she doesn't have to run so far.
Vermillion gets a point here with another service error by the Lennox, just a little too far out. So 13-10. Vermillion has held a lead for a majority of this set. Jensen right there just to tip it back, but Lennox able to recover nicely. Orioles move it around, now just a little lob over. There's Jensen once again. Doty set up nicely, but two blockers in once again, and the rally continues. A tip at the net for Lennox. Diving, keeping it on the ground, and finally finishing off there is Addison Martz, the freshman. She's been impressive so far for Lennox.
She's a summer ball girl, and you can see that on the floor.
13-11. Vermillion with a 2-point lead, just past the halfway point. Again, playing to 25 here.
There's a great pass.
Doty gets it to Jensen, and Jensen, how much does she get in her own head?
A lot. A lot. She is one that needs a little coddling, but if you just give her a little loving, you can sell her that she's good.
And she's a great player, just has had a couple into the net here so far in this first set, and now another great block there. By the size up front, we mentioned Lennox does carry a little bit more size than Vermillion, and they have now squared this one up at 13 apiece on a 3-0 run themselves.
The key with that size, Heath, is to not hit straight at it. They got to hit those angles. They got to get the angles. So.
And give us a little bit more of a perspective as Vermillion lets another point go by. A timeout is called, but let's keep it right here. How do you hit at an angle? I mean, ball's up in the air, you see it come down. To me, it's just hit the ball as hard as you can over. How do you try to make sure you're hitting at an angle?
We always taught there's different things you can do with your hand. You can swipe away to make the ball curve to the right. You can swipe to the in to make the ball curve to the left. You can roll shot. We always called it the jumbo shrimp over the top of the tall girls. Because if they're blocking a tall girl in the middle, they're not going to play defense behind her.
Sure.
Because they're counting on her to cover all those balls. So the key is to either get it up over her or at the angles around her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
14-13. It's just the second lead that Lennox has had of the ball game. Coach Nelson has used one of her first 3 timeouts to resettle the girls in. Right now, Lennox is on a 4-0 run. Again, lead it 14-13 here in the first set. This one is popped up in the air. Gonna be just thrown over by the Tanagers. Lennox able to get it nicely down once again. This one is Carly Cooper, the middle hitter, was able to get a big point there, and Vermillion's run just keeps escaping away from them as now the Lennox Orioles on a 5-0 run.
Yeah, she's a solid hitter in the middle there. They might have to try and pull a double block over on her.
And now we finally see a service error that finally ends that 5-0 run that Lennox is on. They still lead it 15-14 here in the first set. We'll see a couple substitutions made as Claire Doty waits in the wings to serve. Gets this one over, and this one another ace for Claire Doty as this one went to the back line. No one could handle it there, and we're tied up once again.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, but there's a coach on the bench telling Claire where they want her to serve the ball to.
Okay.
Yeah, so they number the positions on the floor. So the coach is actually giving her an idea. Yeah.
This time, a rally begins as Lennox gets it over, trying to get it over the tall blockers, but too far. Danny Hygum, the junior for Lennox, puts it past the Tanager blockers, and Vermillion takes back the lead here in this first set, now 16-15. Again, Claire Doty continues to serve. Speaking of Doty, she has it, sets it nicely. This one gets over. Not a lot of force there from Jensen, but able to make something happen. Blockers there. Doty came at her with a fast pace, not able to rescue it with her right hand. And we're tied once again at 16 apiece.
That block's just a little slow getting up there. So if you watch that closely, you can see that ball going right over those blockers' hands. They just got to get up there a little sooner.
16-16 here in set number 1. Again, we're going to 25. Served right into the net this time for Lillian Mayer, the sophomore. And as we look at this Lennox squad, we've got a lot less of, seniors out there, a lot more freshmen and sophomores. We talked about this squad being on the younger side. Again, these two teams have met this past Saturday in a tournament with Lennox winning it 2-0 again on Saturday. Right now, 17-16, the Tanagers with a 1-point lead. Doty sets it back to Jensen, but this one goes too far. Excuse me, that wasn't Jensen. That Puckett. Thank you.
Puckett. I need to point out, too, we didn't get a chance to talk about Ani Barnett. This is showing just how versatile she is. She's playing left side for them tonight. She plays setter. She's a super passer. And tonight she's playing left side hitter and defense. So she's going to be a good one.
17-17. That's just getting over is Jensen. And going off that, Vermillion is missing one of their key players as well as another point for the Tanagers. Kelsey O'Neill is out tonight. How important is she going to be when she's able to get back out there?
Yeah, it's important to have Kelsey out there. Kelsey's a great leader. She's a pretty quiet leader, but she's a strong leader. But she has the family commitment that she always has this time of the year.
Yep. 18-17, 1-point lead for Lennox here. Just popped over. Vermillion has a chance, sets it back, and this one, that one almost looked as Puckett ran up a little too quickly on it.
Actually, she didn't run up quickly. She didn't transition back far enough.
Okay.
She's got to transition back behind that 10-foot line, so she's behind the ball.
19-17. It's a 2-point lead for Lennox. A good hit that time from Jensen. Not able to put it up in the air was Jackson, the senior. And Vermillion draws it within 1. A great first set that we have seen so far.
Very back and forth. This should be a great lineup for them. They've got 3 strong hitters in the front row. They've got Brooks serving. They should score a lot of points in this rotation.
And speaking of, Vermillion's able to get another point here. Now 19-19. Again, going to 25. Nice serve by Jensen. Popped up in the air. Lennox just had to get it over on their 3rd hit. And now...
That's called a double hit.
Double hit.
Double hit, yeah. She hit one hand and then the other.
That has to be so close.
It's so close. It's so close, literally, yes.
So double hit is called. 20-19. Back to a 1-point lead for Lennox. This one's going to go too far over everyone's head. Another error that Lennox has had. And the score now 20-20. Again, this one has certainly gone back and forth. Puckett just stood up there that time. We see Claire Doty get a running start. What is the techniques?
Do you see how Shaylin arches her back like that? If she doesn't contact the ball in front of her, then the ball's going to go up and it's going to go long. You got to contact the ball in front, like almost a step in front of you, because then you get that low angle and it'll go hard and fast.
21-20. Jody Zeller giving you the insights. Of course, coach the last year, knows these girls so well, has been around volleyball her whole life as well. 21-20 again right now. Lennox leads it over Vermillion. A bit of a rally going as Lennox sets it up, trying to finish it off. A block there by Voss. Second hit. This one able to get over for the Tanagers as they continue on. Right there at the net, tipping back and forth. And this one just kind of came at an awkward angle to gap, wasn't necessarily ready. And Lennox has built on now a 2-point lead, closing in on 25.
22 was always our magic number. If we could get to 22, we were confident we were going to win. So they need to get there. There's Brooklyn's play.
And not able to quite finish it off. A great stop there. Not able to get to the second time, the junior high gum. And now it is, or was there interference at the net is what they call. So give it back the point to Lennox, not to Vermillion. 23-20. This one not able to be set by the Librero there. So Lennox trying to finish it off, but straight into net. Kuiper puts it, and Vermillion draws within 2, 23-21.
I don't know if they meant to do that time, or if you noticed, they had 3 blockers up that time.
So Vermillion trying to make a late push, a late comeback here.
They got to keep those passes on their side, though,
yes.
so they can run their offense.
Claire Doty just tips it up in the air for Voss. It works out perfectly. Voss, not a lot of power, but as you mentioned, that's just kind of her way of getting it over.
Well, and in that case, she's got that gigantic tall blocker there, so all she has to do is get it over the top of her, and it's wide open.
23-22. Service error here, and gives a point to Lennox, and now we're looking at match point as up to serve is Ella Grangs, the sophomore for Lennox, trying to win the very first set. Sends this one over.
There's a good pass.
Doty, this one put down, but Lennox there to recover. Have to just get it over. Looking for the perfect pass once again. The rally continues as Lennox is able to save and set right on down the line, finds its way into the back corner, and Lennox is going to win the first set 25-22 as they take a 1-0 lead over the Vermillion Tanagers. We're going to step aside. We're back with set 2 and more on set 1 here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
This
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
We're back here at Vermillion High School as the Lennox wins set number 1. Coach Zeller, go down first set. What's the mindset? What's the conversation as you get set for set number 2, especially when you were so close in set number 1?
You know, something like that, just little things. They miss several serves. You know, those every time you do that, that gives the other team a point. I didn't keep track, but I would say they missed 5 or 6 at least. So there's 5 points they just handed over, didn't even make them work for. That's big. I noticed Lennox is hitting the line a lot, so they're going to have to make an adjustment there. They've either got to pull that defender over or they've got to adjust that block on the outside.
Well, we are set and ready to go for set number 2. Again, Lennox took set number 1, 25-22, as we mentioned. Vermillion was extremely close in that first set and able to get a quick point here this time from Jackson and Lennox, and they open up with the lead 1-0. When you go throughout these type of games, you talk about being down or when it gets close. When do you actually really start to get nervous about maybe winning or losing the set? Does it take till it gets about in the 20s?
You know, obviously, the later in the game it is, the harder it is. But that, as a coach, I never looked at the complete game when I called timeouts. We always broke it into chunks.
Okay.
Okay, so it was, let's get to 5 first. Let's get to 10 first. Let's get to 15. And if they're behind, we got to get to 22 because that was our magic number.
Lillian Meyer just came up with an ace. Lennox leads it 2-0. Here again, the second set of the home opener for the Vermillion Tanagers, also looking for their first set. Good block there by Jensen, but a good recovery as well for Lennox, and able to finish it off once again with their size. Danny Heigum, the junior, able to get a perfect hit on that one. Now lead it 3-0.
Yeah, and I don't know. This is a great seat to see what's going on. If you watched when Brooke was going across the net, her hands went too far apart. That ball went right between them.
And now a mistake here as Meyer, the sophomore, puts it into the net. Gives that free point, as you mentioned, Coach Zeller, to Vermillion, 3-1. And now up to serve will be Barnett.
She has a great serve. She was our leading aces last year.
Quickly, just sent over by the Tanagers. Doty resets it this time to Puckett and getting it over. Point for Vermillion. Oh no, excuse me.
She called that out, huh? I thought it was in. That's a great hit by Serena. She just got to get it in the court.
4-1, so it was just outside. I thought it painted that bottom corner as well. That's probably one of the only tough spots the way we see it
right
up here in the broadcast spot. Sends it right into the two blockers that time, and this one goes out as well. So Vermillion gets the favor back.
That was a nice hit. Who was that, number 5?
Yep.
That was a nice hit. She's a lefty over there.
Kaya Jackson, the senior for the Lennox Orioles. Another one that goes just barely over the net from Jensen. Looks perfect and can be very difficult, as we talked about, to manage. And now, just trying to get in that back corner once again, unable to do so. Gap. And Lennox takes back a 3-point lead, 5-2.
When she's hitting those serves or just skimming that net, that means she's contacted it in that perfect position, right where you want her. And her height is helpful on that, too.
Yes. And it was just handled by Lennox on that last serve we saw in the first set. They struggled in the first about 6-7 points.
Right.
That time we see it go straight kind of into the body with Puckett. We see her hands come together trying to get it up. Is that one just kind of being in the wrong spot at the wrong time?
Those are hard, but the kids have to do a little back pedal and maybe shrug those shoulders up a little bit. They're hard.
6-2. Lennox has a 4-point lead. Doty, a great pass to Voss, and Voss not able to quite finish it off. A great jumping stop there by Highgum. And now over again, 6-2 as the rally continues. This one popped up into the air. Voss sends this one across, popped up and kind of lost it into the gym if that was going to go over, not where that was going to go at, and it's now 6-3.
That was a nice hit. I would like to see Brooklyn try to use that left side of the court, but I do have to throw in there, that was B-baller, Brooklyn. She told me to say that.
6-3 here. It is the second set with the Lennox Orioles that are leading it over the Vermillion Tanagers, and this one just trying to poke it over, not able to do so. 6-4. Now Vermillion has themselves a modest 2-0 run here. Trying to get it back. They've never had bigger than, Lennox, I should say, a 4-point lead, and Vermillion has never had a lead yet here in this set. And this one, couple hits, a deflection there by Doty, falls to the ground. Another point for Lennox.
Yeah, watching Mike King up there doing his balancing act as they hit the ref stand.
And that's always something. Again, if you're interested as well, check out the South Dakota High School Activities Association website. Always in need of reffing.
And volleyball refs, they are short of. Volleyball and wrestling, huge. They need help. They need people doing that. Just takes a simple open book test and a mechanics clinic is all it takes, and knowing the sport, of course.
Yes, a little bit of the sport might help just a little bit. 7-5 as Vermillion keeps it close here with Lennox in this second set. Again, Vermillion has never had the lead. Again, Vermillion Tanagers also looking for their first win of the season. When it comes to volleyball, this is the home opener, and Live Ticket TV will have you covered for Vermillion volleyball throughout the rest of the season, whether it's home or away, unless our sister companies are helping us out on that evening.
There's that left hand again. She did a nice job adjusting to that.
The rally continues. This one finds the perfect spot. Vermillion only comes with the one blocker that time, and that's just easy pickings there for Cooper, the junior, for Lennox.
She's just too tall. She has too good of range. They're going to have to throw another blocker on her to be successful.
Yeah, and again, Voss was just kind of out there, not no man's land, but it's hard to be by yourself there going up against that type of size.
Yeah, she can only put a block in one spot.
Yep.
So where the hitter has the advantage, they can go different directions.
Yep. Another service ace, this one for Lennox. back up to their biggest lead of 4, 9-5. Here in the second set, again, Lennox leads it 1-0 in sets. Put over as Doty again has to go running to it. This one, she might have actually set it over, but Vermillion able to recover. Third hit just has to get it over this time. Set up nicely and trying to save it. That one might have been going out. Bonsack wasn't for sure, puts her hand up there and deflects it into the crowd. How do you judge that if you're in the back row, whether it's going out or not?
Yeah, I always told the girls waist level. If it's above your waist, let it go. If it's, unless it's a big lofty thing, let it go if it's above your waist.
10-5, and there again, we see another point for Lennox starting to build. 11-5. When, if at all, your Coach Nelson, do you go to a timeout?
I would think she's got to be starting to think about it at least. I never really had a rule, do it here, but they've doubled our score now. She's probably starting to think about it.
Another ace here, and just that's what I was wondering. A timeout called from Coach Nelson, and we'll step aside and take the timeout with them. It's Lennox that leads it in set 2, 12-5. They have a 1-set lead over Vermillion. We're back here in just a moment on Live Ticket TV.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Back-to-back aces as we're resuming action here at the Vermillion High School gym. Now 13-5. 8-point lead for Lennox, and this one,
That was into me, didn't it to you?
Nah, that one did.
Does she know which line's in? I'm kidding.
How much did you have to hold back? Did you voice your opinion a little too much sometimes, you think?
Sometimes in my early years, I know I did. I used to call the word yuck when I didn't like what they did. But yeah, they're pretty, I know all the officials. I've been in volleyball long enough. I know all these people, so that probably helped.
Sure. 14-6 as one finally went into the net for Lennox. Vermillion is able to get 2 points with a hard hit there from Jensen. Now 14-7.
That was a great hit. And I don't know if you noticed that, but notice Brooklyn didn't hit right out of the middle that time. She went over to what's called the 3 spot, and she hit from that 3 spot, which makes your blocker have to move.
14-7 as now Voss is up to serve. Second hit puts the Orioles into the corner, but eventually able to dig themselves out of it, and shot right goes into the blocker there. Again, the size of Cooper, as we talked about, standing at 6'2". She is the biggest girl for both teams out there, and she has certainly caused fits tonight.
Yeah, and when you run that slide, which is what Brooke just did right there, she ran behind the setter. I would say 90% of the time, the ball is going to go to the left side of the court. So those are a little bit easier to block. All they got to do is get there.
15-7. This one, a carry by Jensen, gives another point to Lennox, and Vermillion just hasn't been able to find their groove here in this set.
Their passing is not as good. And if they can't pass the ball and get it at least close to Claire, then it messes everything up. Notice, great pass.
And there's the point.
Assist and kill. Yep.
16-8. Again, Vermillion does find themselves trailing by 8. We'll make a substitution here as checking back into the game. Emma Willard, the junior, will check in for just the second time. Or excuse me, that was Puckett that checked it. I'm sorry, I looked at my numbers wrong. Puckett.
She checked in for Willard.
Yes. 17-8, and now Lennox will make a couple substitutions.
Hey, that tall girl's out.
And now coming in as well, Madison Steingrim, this senior, is up to service. She just checked in, but Annika
She's still
Collins,
tall.
also checked in as she comes in at 6 foot, the senior. So a little bit of size for size
Yeah.
and fresh bodies for Lennox as they lead at 17-8. And speaking of Collins, she had it right there. Set it up, trying to get the kill.
Notice how those blockers are at least getting a touch on the ball. That gives your defenders a chance.
Sure.
Yep.
17-8, and that time you mentioned a chance. If you're able to get the deflection.
That's all it takes.
That time it doesn't happen for the Vermillion Tanagers. Lennox able to get the point there. 18-8 now as we move throughout this second set. Again, Vermillion already down 1-0. Doty to Barnett, the sophomore. They get it over. This time straight into the blockers. And this will be a point. Explain this a little bit more. What just happened?
Yeah, what happened there, they got the block, but because they were a little too far off the net, the ball fell in front of them rather than on the other side of the net. So they have to close that gap to the net.
And you don't, of course, as we see it with our camera vantage point, we don't necessarily always notice that. And it
Correct.
falls so quickly
Absolutely.
that you're just like, oh, you think you got that blocking at the point when it actually came back to you. Now Jensen at the Tanager logo, tying her shoe, 19-9. Vermillion trailing by 10. This moment not worried about trying to win the set, just trying to get back into it.
Get a rally going, get something going, get some momentum. Volleyball is a huge game of momentum.
Set up in this one, miscommunication, a 2-hit there. And they're trying to get it to that size of Annika Collins. As we mentioned, she just checked in a moment ago at 6 foot, kind of has the curly blonde hair as we see it on Live Ticket TV. They want to get it to her with that size that she has in the middle. And this one just goes right back at Bonsack. Has nothing to do with it. Sends it out and over, 20-10 now.
It's nice to see the student section in the whiteout copying the Coyotes from the weekend.
That's right. Of course, USD had just a fantastic tournament. Some big-name teams with Louisville and Missouri that came along, and Vermillion able to find some wins during that tournament as well. Of course, not against Louisville, but
But they competed.
yes, they competed extremely well, and I know that was a jam-packed house all the way around. The Dome on Friday for football, and then you mentioned that volleyball.
Yeah, it was an exciting weekend in Vermillion.
Yes. It's that exciting time of year. Everyone's back in school.
Right.
USC is back in session. Lennox comes up with another point. Now lead at 22-10.
They bring so much life to the community. It's just nice to have them.
They certainly do. It definitely changes.
Good play by Claire there, digging that out of the net.
Yeah, dig it out. That's really the first dig that we've really seen for either team so far tonight. Takes a skip along the net, and Vermillion's able to get a point out of it in the end. Now 22-11.
Once again, here's that lineup with Brooke serving, so there you go. So they should be able to score some points.
And an ace as Brooke, again, able to just sneak it over the top of the netting. Now 22-12, as you mentioned, just get a little bit of a rally going here at this moment. Get a little bit of momentum. So to Collins, she just sends it over. Doesn't even jump, but it's blocked there by the Tanagers, and then eventually able to come up with another point. Vermillion on a 3-0 run, 22-13.
Yeah, I hope Shaylin meant to do that, but she tipped that. You know, we always tell the girls, if the play's all happening right at the net, tip it deep because they're all at the net covering that. So
13-12. This time, Jensen hits the top of the net, but is able to get it over, and this one set perfectly that time over by the net. Greg saw the two blockers coming up and moved it the opposite direction.
absolutely. And if you notice, Serena Gap covered that well. It was just perfectly tipped.
23-13 here in the second set. Lennox leads it 1-0 over the Vermillion Tanagers. This one, trying to dig it up there. Not really able to do anything with Puckett. And now Lennox is down to their match point once again. a timeout called here by Coach Nelson. What's the timeout called for with 1 point separating this right now?
I would say calling a timeout at this point in the game, it's about momentum. You know, it'd be great to get a couple of points. Let's see if we can get to at least 15. Anything more than that, just build on that, because you got to get momentum going into set 3. This one's probably over.
Yes.
But how close can we make it? So.
Yes, and that's what it's all about right now, going into, again, the third set. Moments away, 24-13. Don't forget as well, you can catch it, as we mentioned, Vermillion Athletics on Live Ticket TV. You can also download the app today and find all your favorite Vermillion Athletics and also all the schools across the state of South Dakota that Live Ticket TV is covering. Again, you can find the Live Ticket TV app right there on Google Play or in the App Store. Have you downloaded it yet, Coach Zeller?
Of course I have.
There we go. Of course, Cole, our producer, has it on his phone, so might as well download it as well today. Of course, Live Ticket, downloading the app is always free to do so as well. This one goes out, so, all right, we call it timeout. It works, 24-14.
Yes.
Yep. So this is where Vermillion tries to grab a little bit more, as now Puckett is up to serve. Again, does not have that jump serve. She just stands tall, but able to get it over this time. Goes back to Puckett, to Doty. Just sent over this time by Gap. Lennox comes with just a floater right over the top of the blockers. It works nicely. And that one is set 2 as Lennox gets the victory, 25-14. We're going to step aside here on a Live Ticket TV. And when we come back, we get you set for set number 3. That is on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Here at Vermillion High School as we get set for set number 3. Lennox does lead it 2-0 over the Vermillion Tanagers. As again, we saw on this past Saturday, Lennox in a tournament beat Vermillion in 2 sets. Of course, only do 3 sets during those tournaments. How often do you see a lot of teams? Is it always a set of 3 teams, 2 teams? How does those sometimes tournaments work on the weekends?
Do you mean like as far as 3 sets or yes?
Or yeah, how many teams are going to play?
Oh, it kind of depends, but that Canton tournament has quite a few teams. They run 3 pools. So some of the teams got 4 matches in on Saturday. That's great experience, yeah.
Lennox opens up with a 2-0 run. Second point comes on an ace. And again, Lennox leads it 2-0. This has got to be important to get points right away.
Comes down to the pass. They got to keep their shoulders in front of the ball. Keep your shoulders in front of the ball.
2-0. Lennox leads it. Of course, 2-0 set as well. This one's sent over nicely. Lennox scrambles, but Jensen able to come up with a big kill there. 2-1.
Right, and then once again, great pass leads to an assist and a kill.
Now, does it necessarily have to go through Claire Doty all the time?
It doesn't have to, but that's your preference.
Speaking of, Doty is up to serve right now, goes right at her. Perfect save there. Sent back over by Doty. Lennox, not the greatest of passes. They just have to deal with it and send it back over. Passing not necessarily on target for either team at the moment. A chance here this time for Puckett. But Lennox able to save, coming back at them with the size and the speed, but too far. This one goes out, and Vermillion has their first lead.
Yeah, in that last rally, you noticed Claire had to play a couple of first balls, so then that makes your right side Shaylin have to be the setter there.
2-2 is the tied right now. This one sent over nicely, right past, not past the blockers, but into the spot they were at, and no one able to quite recover for Vermillion. And Lennox takes back their lead 3-2. Again, I'm Heath Nimke, along with Coach Jody Zeller. Coach, you don't mind if I call you that, right?
No, actually, I have a lot of people still call me that.
I don't know if I... Once you're a coach, it's one of those things. Once you're a coach, you're always a coach.
Yeah, it never goes away, does it?
It doesn't. 3-2. Lennox leads it here in the third set. As this one, Jensen knew she just had to get it over. Lennox not necessarily ready for it.
Right.
And Jensen able to catch him off guard.
And that was the difference with that pass, though. It wasn't a great pass, but at least she kept her shoulders in front of it, so they were able to play it.
Voss, not Voss. That time it was Barnett just sends it over. And Vermillion not able to get the point out of it. That's got to be tough, too, when you can get some good serves going and then not end up coming away with any points.
I know. Or it's a killer when somebody has a great save and then the next person does what we call the bonehead.
4-3. So this one gets set up. Collins just has it, knowing she has to get it over, and she just sent that over to make a play happen and somehow is able to get the back line there and get a point out of it.
Well, and that's your libero there making a judgment call. She thought it was going to be out, and it landed right smack on.
I say there's nothing you can necessarily do about that one as this one's set into the net there by Jackson. That's got to be tough there on the psyche as well.
Absolutely.
Because you just start thinking about what could have been if I go after it.
And, as Emma's playing the ball there, the other girls should be talking to her, but does that always happen? No.
5-4, and that's a great ace there by Jensen. And you go back to communication, and that was even something Coach Nelson and I talked about.
Oh, really? Yeah.
She said she didn't necessarily say a come to Jesus moment, but she said communication is something that they've really been working on. But as you mentioned, it's been tough for this squad.
It's vital, yeah. And this is, like I said, they're all nice girls.
Yes.
And sometimes nice.
It doesn't translate over. 6-5. It is a 1-point lead for Lennox here against Vermillion in the third set. That one might have been going out, but Vermillion decides to work with it. Lennox has it. Size just puts it over the blockers there. But this one set too far in front. Gives a mistake and a point to Lennox.
Yeah, that's a great idea by Emma to try to set that from there, but she's got to keep her off the net.
7-5. Doty has to go chasing after it. That makes it difficult for her to put it in the right spot. She wants to get it back there to the middle. Can't necessarily do so. Set up nicely for Gap.
Did you notice how Serena wasn't square to the net there? She was like facing the crowd. It's really important that hitters get square to the net.
8-5 now with another point as Lennox comes up with it. This one just paints the bottom corner as well. And you talk about a game of momentum, and Lennox certainly is starting to grab this momentum as well.
Yes.
On a 4-0 run, they now lead it 9-5.
So they're making a little adjustment here in serve receive. Pulled Brooklyn back in. That's a good idea.
And it goes straight to the net. Was that even...
Those are playable, but those kids in the front line got to remember they're not just there to look pretty. They have to watch the ball too.
10-5. As we see, as you mentioned, kind of that new formation once again. And this one, a low pass. Was that Voss just not ready for it?
What that was is no communication between those two players. And because Brooklyn thought Serena was going to go for it, and Serena felt like it was over her head, and neither one of them talked.
11-5, another timeout called by Coach Nelson. Well, again, great to have you along here on Live Ticket TV. We have more volleyball that is coming up. Coach Zeller, you're going to be with us again on Thursday night?
I am. I'll be here.
Beautiful. We would love to have you come on out, of course, to volleyball games here at Vermillion High School as well. But if you can't, don't forget Live Ticket. You can catch it when we're on the road and here at home. Of course, it's always nice to have the comforts of home. Coach Zeller, have anything exciting going on for your Wednesday coming up?
Going to teach a little 6th grade math.
Good for you. Good for you.
We're dividing decimals tomorrow. How about you?
You know, they got a calculator nowadays for me, and that's about as far as I'm going to go. And I still get that half wrong sometimes.
There you go. And this mean old math teacher doesn't let them use it. So.
11-5, another one. That is the third time now here in this set that we have seen one that's gone to a back corner or painted the line, and it's come up with a point for Lennox. They just seem to have a little bit of luck on their side right now.
Yeah. Well, and once again, communication. That one went closer to Emma, so I would say Emma should move to the ball, but that means Ani's got to do the talking.
12-5. A little bit of deflection there between the middle blockers. Vermillion able to recover, send it over. This one, this time, just goes a little bit beyond, and a point for Vermillion, as that time it was Martz, the freshman, who sent it just a little far.
Yes, and I think if you notice there, the block got their hands up there that time, and I think they altered that. She was trying to go over the block, which caused her to go long.
And this one, an service error once again from Puckett, gives the point right back, and that's not necessarily a good point to give up. We talk about how they're just easy points, but that also gets, as I like to kind of say, lengths that halfway point here of this now set.
Yes, and there's errors. You're obviously going to make errors, but you want to make good errors. A ball that goes into the net doesn't even give the other team a chance to make an error.
And right now, Lennox gives it right back as they send one too far, 13-7. Vermillion needs to try to find themselves a little bit of a run here.
They do. They need to get some momentum. Somebody's got to step up and do something cool.
And there we see this time miscommunication at points, but this time two blockers that are able to come in and come up with a big point, including Doty up there at the line.
Claire and Brooklyn really work well together as a block, so they spend a lot of time together, so they do a lot of stuff good together.
13-8, what a great play there by Gap as she's diving to the ground, not necessarily trying to get it over the net, but does so and eventually gets a point out of it.
Exactly.
Speaking of Gap, she's up once again to serve, 13-9. Once again, a fast shot that comes in that Vermillion just sends it right back. A rally continues. Voss to Doty. Back to Voss. This one takes deflection, and this one somehow sneaks back across for a Lennox, and Voss gets it back over. A little bit of lob over Voss, the blocker there.
There you go.
Tips it right over the two blockers and size of Lennox. Momentum right back Vermillion's way.
Yeah, that left side hitter for Lennox is doing a really good job pulling back off of that block and covering that tip, but that time she went the other way and she got the point.
13-10 in this one. A shot that goes off of blockers into the top of the net, stays alive. Voss to Doty, and miscommunication, but Vermillion makes it work. Set up, blocked once again by the Tanagers. This one sent over. Librero there to cover. Voss just tries to knock it over, and she's able to do so. And Vermillion's run continues. Now on a 5-0 run, and they trail by 2, 13-11. And you wonder if Coach Tammy might use one of her timeouts coming up here in just a little bit.
Get them stopped?
Yes, stop the bleeding kind of here at this moment. Miscommunication once again, but you saw the strong senior leadership of Doty come in, saying, get everyone out of the way, I'm going to handle this. Eventually, Lennox gets the point, 14-11, but that time, again, you have to say a lot of appreciation to Doty, saying, hey, I'm going to take it, I'm going to set it.
Exactly. We could hear that clear up here, so that tells me the girls on the floor knew what was going on.
14-11. Lennox leads it in a 2-0 set. Gotta get that little bit of confidence. What does it take for Bonsack here in this third set, and even just going forward throughout the rest of the season, to maybe start going after a few more if she's questioning them?
I'm going to once again come back to that communication. If her teammates would just talk to her, because she's a kid that if you tell her go for a ball, she will do it. So when she's trying to play there, the other Emma Willard, and Ani and Serena, they've got to tell her it's in, and Emma's going to go chase it down.
16-11, as now Lennox has it underneath double digits if they want to finish this one off. A great smack across, a great kill that time from Barnett. And Vermillion still keeping it close. Again, needs to find themselves just a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
Here.
I have been so impressed with Ani's hitting out there because that's never been her strong point. And she's really doing well. Okay?
And now this one goes across, and again, that free point.
Shoot your momentum in the heart.
Yep. 17-12. Again, Vermillion just needs to keep it a little bit of that momentum here, especially when down already 2-0.
Yeah. It's really important to score multiple points in a row here.
Lennox sets it up. Doty got a piece of it, but it tipped off of her right hand and went towards the bleachers. Not able to get there in time, more the Tanagers. Lennox comes up with another point, and they get themselves a step closer, now just 7 points away from winning for tonight. Doty gets it to Jensen, and Jensen, that one served up on a silver platter. You talk about the passing.
Everything went well there. The pass was good, the set was good, but Brooke did a fabulous footwork and transition there, and of course scored the point.
18-13 now, as Claire Doty up to serve for the Tanagers. Gets it over. Lennox just sends it over that time by Jackson. Barnett returns the favor. Size once again goes off the left hand. And this is great coaching as well, coming from Coach Tammy of Lennox Orioles.
Yeah, that's what you call tooling that blocker. Tooling the blocker when whether she intended to or not, she hit it off the edge of her hand and made the ball go diagonally across, and it's almost impossible to play those.
19-13. Trying to finish it off as Meyer is up, and she has struggled so far tonight for Lennox. It's the third time now that she's put a serve into the net.
Yeah. This is a key point right here because Ani can score points off her serve if we can get a couple in a row here.
And does exactly that. Comes up with an ace. Back-to-back points, as Coach Zeller mentioned just a moment ago. 19-15. This is certainly Vermillion not out of it. But as you mentioned, need to have some points here. This one just goes out. Yep. See it from a mile away.
I don't know if you noticed that, Heath, on that serve, but did you see that float on that? You can manipulate the ball to make it do that, but according to how square you hit it, where the valve is at when you hit it, things like that, you can make that ball weave and wave. Yeah.
And this one just paints the back line as Vermillion grabs a nice run put together, and this is now 5 straight points, 19-17. We see Coach Tammy for Lennox use the timeout. Who's the more pressure on right now with momentum right now for the Tanagers?
Well, obviously the Tanagers have a lot of pressure on them because they've got to score more points here, or they're done, right? But I guarantee you, Lennox wants to finish it in 3 as well. So I think Ani needs to keep serving here. This should be a big focus after a timeout because that coach called the timeout to end this rally.
Yes.
Ani can't let her do that.
19-17. Again, Vermillion on a 5-0 run. They've drawn it within 2. Sent over. Set up by Lennox. This one just goes out of bounds, and it seems like almost Lennox is starting to second-guess themselves now. Danny Heigem doesn't make a lot of those type of mistakes. And now Vermillion has drawn it within 1, 19-18. Set up. Heigem once again put it right back in the blockers. She makes up for the mistake she had a moment ago.
Exactly.
20-18, and now this has to be a run put together by Kaya Jackson, the senior, up to serve for Lennox.
They need a quick stop here. That's not the way to do it.
And that is a lot of miscommunication. You can't let that one. You talk about bad errors and just giving points. When it lands in between all 6 of you, that is not good whatsoever. 21-18, and same spot as the last time. Not able to get down soon enough was Barnett. 22-18. And it looks like we might see a little bit of an adjustment as well.
That's a good call by Coach Nelson. Emma just needs just a quick break, and she'll get her back in there.
Doty right there at the net just tries to tip it back. They say it did hit Lennox, so Vermillion did have that extra hits upcoming. Puckett, and miscommunication once again. Rescuing it there is Gap, just getting it over for the Tanagers.
That's good defense by Brooklyn, and that proves that player can get all the way there and get that ball.
Gap had it set up nicely for her, but puts it into the netting. And now 2 points away are the Lennox Orioles from sweeping the Vermillion Tanagers here tonight. Voss.
Another good pass.
Doty to Jensen. And again, Jensen has that strength, comes up with a big point, and now she's up to serve here. 23-19. Student section in the whiteout tonight gets a little bit more into it. Jensen just sends it perfectly right over. Another ace for her tonight, 23-20.
I would think if you have points you need to score, this is the rotation you want them in.
Jensen trying to pick up some more points, but this time sends it into the net. And
go ahead. She's served great tonight, though.
She has.
She has. Sorry about that.
No, you're absolutely fine. 24-20. This one is game point here as the Lennox Orioles look to sweep Vermillion Tanagers in the home opener as Danny Heigum is up to serve. Able to get it over to Doty, to Voss. Voss puts at the net. Not able to find its way over, and Lennox gets the victory 25-20. And they win it in 3 sets. Well, we saw a great performance tonight from the Tanagers, Coach Zeller, but in the end, a lot to continue to build and continue to work on.
Yep, we always said keep that glass half full. That's done. You can't fix that anymore. Fix what you can fix for the next one. So,
Vermillion Tanagers dropped to 0-6 now on the season. We're going to step aside here on Live Ticket TV, but we do have our post-game coming up, including we'll try to catch up with head coach Amy Nelson. That is on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
And we're back here in Vermillion as tonight in volleyball action on Live Ticket TV. Vermillion Tanagers fall in 3 sets tonight to the Lennox Orioles. And Coach Zeller, as you were just mentioning a little bit ago, when you look at this match, and you said this was the first time you kind of got to watch the girls here this season. What was kind of your big takeaways on tonight? Yeah, 3-0 sweep. There's a lot of good things, but what's some of the things they look to fix throughout this season moving forward?
Yeah, like I said, to me the biggest thing's obviously communication. Even we saw it from clear up here. So that's a huge fix they need to make. They had several hitting errors. They've got to get that kind of stuff cleaned up. And the serving errors, that's going to happen every now and then, but there were just too many tonight. So, and then the blocking has to get stronger. They've got to, and it doesn't have to be an all-out point-scoring block, but they have to at least get touches on those balls to help their defenders out. If their defenders are back there trying to dig hard balls time after time after time, they're not going to be successful at that.
We saw a lot of great things from the Vermillion girls as well, including in sets 1 and 3, lose by 5 points or less tonight. What does it take to just change those 1 or 2 things that you would tweak at practice if it was you to get those changed in the right direction?
I would say those things, serves, okay, and then their serve receive. If they can keep their shoulders in front of the ball, that's going to get those balls close enough to Claire, because Claire's got good range on her, okay? She's got great range on her, and she can get to a lot of balls, but they have to keep up at least where Claire can get to them. And that's all that takes, is keeping the ball in front of your shoulders.
As we mentioned tonight, the Vermillion Tanagers fall in 3 straight sets to the Lennox Orioles, now dropped to 0-6 here on this season. And again, we talk about what has all been coming up, and for Vermillion, the road to success doesn't get any easier. They now take on South Sioux City, a team out of the state of Nebraska, which I know a couple of years ago I was covering you. I don't think that game happened because of COVID. It is one of those rare occasions that we get to see us step outside of South Dakota and take on Nebraska. What should we be expecting on Thursday?
South Sioux City was always kind of a hit or miss because, we use Huddle, we use the game film, we scout the different teams around, but we weren't always very successful getting from out-of-state teams.
Yes.
We don't have the same tools that we have. So a lot of times we would go into that with just some information from somebody rather than video. And the other thing with South Sioux is they have coaching change so often down there. So their team, it feels like, is new almost every year. Now, the young man who had it last year, and I can't remember his name, but the young man who had it last year, he did it 2 years in a row. So if he's back, they've got a coach for 3 years in a row. To me, that's a good sign for them. They were really, really young last year. So, if he's still around and he's kept some of those players around, they'll have some experience on him. And he definitely knew what he was doing. He just was in the process of getting it done.
Well, it should be exciting to see what all happens. Again, we'll have all the coverage for that coming up on Thursday night right here on Live Ticket TV. As we await Coach Nelson, Coach Zeller, I will let you move on with your night. We'll catch you back here on Thursday, all right?
All right. I'm excited to come back.
Well, hey, thanks again. I appreciate everything.
Thank you.
There she is. Coach Zeller here on Live Ticket TV. We're going to step aside, and we'll see if we can't catch up with head coach Amy Nelson. That's on the way next on Live Ticket.
Limestone canyons, flowing waterfalls, and pristine beauty make Spearfish a sanctuary for those seeking the ultimate escape. Outdoor enthusiasts will find top-notch sport climbing, mountain biking, and UTV OHV trails. Guests are steps away from peaceful hiking trails and tranquil streams. Relax and rehash your day's adventure at one of our award-winning local breweries. Finding rest is an important part of any adventure. Lodging in Spearfish comes with a variety of choices, from cabins, B&Bs, and campgrounds to the comforts of your popular brand-name hotels. To find your unique adventure in Spearfish, go to visitspearfish.com now.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Back here at Vermillion High School as the players come out of the locker room, the fans continue to linger around a little bit as well. But in 3 straight sets, Lennox is able to down Vermillion 25-21, 25-14, and 25-20. Vermillion still looking for their first official win of the season as they now drop to 0-6 after some tournament play this past weekend. Again, trying to find that first win as we just mentioned it. And with Coach Zeller, who joined us on the broadcast, going to be interesting what's coming up with South Sioux City out of the state of Nebraska. That game is coming up on Thursday. Of course, we'll have all the coverage right here on Live Ticket TV. Before we see if we can't catch up with Coach Nelson, we take a quick look at scores from around the state of South Dakota when it comes to volleyball action. Warner, the number 1 seed in Class A right now, is dominating over Webster area. They lead it 2-0, including winning in the second set there, 25-8. In other action, we see Dakota Valley, the number 2 seed, taking on Tri-Valley. They're again up 2-0 right now. It looks like they're about to sweep past the Mustangs. In other action, receiving votes, Hamlin leads it over Great Plains Lutheran 1-0. Actually just went final, or I should say winning second set. Hamlin now leads it 2-0 over Great Plains Lutheran. In other action in Class A for volleyball, number 3 Wagner just held on to win in set number 1 against Mount Vernon Plankinton 1-0. Again, they lead that, but 26-24 was the final score there. And other action, Sioux Valley's on top of Parker right now, 25-11, 25-11, and 17-2 in the third set. Again, Sioux Valley leads it 2-0. Also, Elk Point Jefferson is up 2-0 in sets of beating Del Rapids 25-22 and 25-22. And after set number 1, Madison is leading it over Canton 1-0. Canton is receiving votes, but Madison won the first set 25-22. Again, that is action across A right now with scores that are reported. In Class AA action, we are tied at 1 set apiece in several different matches, including number 4 Sioux Falls Jefferson and Sioux Falls Lincoln. Right now in set number 3, it is 4 seed Jefferson that leads it over Lincoln 19-17. Also, number 1 O'Gorman is tied with Brandon Valley 1-1 apiece as they just wrapped up set number 2 with O'Gorman leading it 25-23. Also currently in the third set, things tied at 1-1 apiece. Number 2 Sioux Falls Washington is trailing against Sioux Falls Roosevelt 21-19. Again, that is currently in the third set, otherwise tied 1-1 apiece. And that is look at scores from around the state of South Dakota. Well, we're going to step aside, take one last quick break, and see if we can't catch up with Coach Nelson. That is on the way next here on Live Ticket TV.
Farmers know crop insurance is essential for managing risk. It's also valuable for maximizing revenue. The crop insurance officers at Farm Credit Services of America have proprietary tools and expertise to deliver the personalized crop and revenue protection you need for the peace of mind you want. Nobody delivers crop insurance like this. Discover the difference by calling 800-884-FARM. Agriculture works here.
We hope you are all enjoying the student productions of your school. Tonight's event and every event produced by your school during the school year are created, filmed, and produced by the students you love to follow and support. Become a booster of your school's live event coverage by becoming a sponsor. It's a great way to show your support of the athletes and students in your community. As a sponsor, you'll get great visibility for your business, organization, or family by supporting the live productions of your school.
Back here one final time at Vermillion High School Gymnasium as things are wrapping up. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to catch up with Coach Amy Nelson. But again, in final action tonight here from Vermillion High School, it is a 3-set sweep taken down as the Vermillion Tanagers still continue to look for their first win of the season, but again, they fall tonight against Lennox 3-0. Don't forget, Live Ticket TV is your home for all Vermillion athletics, as coming up this week, we still have plenty more on the docket, including more volleyball right back here for varsity action on Thursday night, and then you can also catch Vermillion football as they take on Lennox. Again, you can find all the action right here on Live Ticket TV, and don't forget to download the app today and follow along for all your favorite schools, including Vermillion High School right there on Live Ticket TV. And again, download that app today. Big thank you to Coach Jody Zeller for helping us out. Big thank you as well to Cole Larsch for being our production man. I'm Heath Nimke. Until Thursday evening, have yourself a wonderful rest of your night.